Hello, I'm Kenneth Kinney and welcome to another episode of An Education That Works, where every week Victory University profiles leaders in our community who've gone on to achieve phenomenal success in their careers after earning a college degree. Studies show that a lot of graduates today want to lead nonprofits in their future and make a real impact in their careers. Well, today's guest is an amazing example of someone who's, when education was put to work, went on to make an amazing difference in our community. Estella Mayhue-Greer is the President and CEO of the Mid-South Food Bank, a charitable organization whose mission is to fight hunger through the efficient collection and distribution of wholesome food and through education and advocacy. With me, she discusses how her own education not only led to success in her own career, but how it helped benefit her to become a better CEO and leader of a phenomenal charity, one of the greatest in our area. So join me now with Estella Mayhue-Greer on Victory University's An Education That Works. All right, so welcome to another episode of An Education That Works. I'm here at the Mid-South Food Bank with the President and CEO, Ms. Estella Mayhue-Greer. Thank you, Estella, for being on the show.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, tell me a little bit about your own educational background and how your degree got you from, where you started in college to kind of where you are today in your career.
Well, my undergraduate degree was in communications, specializing in journalism with a concentration in public relations. And my master's degree is in communication and organizational communications.
Well, how do you think that helped you get to the role you're in now?
Well, as I tell people, everything I've ever done has prepared me for this role, and
Sure.
Little did I know that my education would prepare me for this, because I just felt like I would always be public relations and marketing.
Right.
But it really helps to understand the importance of being able to communicate the need to the public, that food insecurity is a serious issue, and having the ability to communicate that in an effective manner. But at the same time, as President and CEO, communicating well with the staff, being able to communicate the importance of the work that they do and how important their role is to moving forward to feeding people. So funders, you have to be able to tell the story to them and communicate to them that their funding dollars will be used effectively and efficiently to help feed those people who are facing food insecurity.
So where did you get your start in your career? Was it in journalism or communications?
Well, actually, when I was in school, I got an internship.
Sure.
An unpaid internship at the Regional Medical Center.
Okay.
And it was a really good experience for me because they had a very slim staff and they were more reactive to their media relations. And while I was there as an intern, I sort of started a more proactive media relations program. So I basically created my first job out of school. And when I graduated, they hired me to be responsible for their community relations, which was basically planning special events and handling all the media programs. Whenever there was something that the media needed, they had to go through me.
Well, you got involved with helping people, basically like anybody that's part of a hospital. Is it something you knew you wanted to do before, or was it just something that came about as part of your communications experience?
I never knew. I've always had a heart to help, even when I worked as an admission clerk at Methodist Hospital. But being at the Med and working with people like Dr. Coronas, then you learn the importance of being able to reach out and help others. And it was really a good experience for me being at the Med and feeling like I was making a difference. And I left the Med and went to Methodist, and I remember Dr. Corona saying, "Estella, you're not going to like it because you like being here." But I did go back to Methodist because I worked there while I was going to school. I went to school part-time for a long time to get my undergraduate degree. And I went back to Methodist and stayed there another 3 years. But when the opportunity came, I left and went and worked for the city of Memphis. And there I was still in my field. I was working for the Office of Drug Policy. and had to go out and do a lot of public speaking and engage in the public in the then war on drugs. But coming to the food bank gave me that feeling that I had when I was at the Med,
Sure.
that I was making a difference in someone's life every day when I got up. You know, that's how I felt at the Med, and I feel that here at the food bank.
Yeah, I don't know how you couldn't. And you know, one of the things that you said, and we'll get to talking a little bit more about what the Mid-South Food Bank's doing, but you know, when you think about your own degree and how it helped prepare you in communicating to employees, you've got, what, 40 plus employees here?
We have 47 employees, and my master's degree was in organizational communication, so it helped me to understand the nuances of communications. You know, sometimes it's how you say things, and a lot of people don't understand that your nonverbal communication speaks more than your verbal, because you can say one thing, but your body language is saying something else, and being able to understand those things and communicate to the employees. Yes, we're focused on good customer service, and you're greeting people with a smile, but that smile may be showing that this is not a true smile.
Sure. I can imagine. Well, and I think one of the things that's important for any leader, obviously, is to motivate their troops. And there have got to be a lot of times here, even here, when people are down, and you got to lift up their spirits a little bit more to care. Because everybody can have a passionate heart for helping people, but we all get tired and need to have our spirits lifted. How do you do that as a CEO and a boss to these people?
Tell them the importance of what they're doing, you know, and they see it every day when they encounter people who are so grateful for the food that we're delivering to our partner agencies. But, you know, the work itself should be uplifting. And sometimes, you know, everybody has a bad day, you know, but you just try to work through those bad days, you know. And you talked about education. I want to tell you this. I majored in communications because I'm horrible with math.
Sure.
So I went through the school catalog to find out what didn't require a lot of math, and ended up having to take foreign language. But, you know, that's why I majored in communications. And there were courses that I still had to take. And I never understood, why do I need math? I'm a communications major. And before computers, you had to size your photographs that you put into brochures and in your newsletters. And it's really come in handy here at the food bank, being able to make sure that we're managing those donor dollars well and effectively and efficiently. So, you know, in the coursework, there's always subjects that you say, I don't know why I have to take this. It's not going to help me in my career. But somewhere along the way, you find out that it does help in your career.
I'm going to college so I can be successful and further my education. My major is accounting, and I want to go to grad school for healthcare accounting. And I feel like it's important to do community service and help around Memphis area and tell other kids how important it is to go to college, go to school, and to learn more, so they can become successful and go in the right path. I love playing for Victory University volleyball team. I love how we all can have the connection together and become like a little small family and have goals for each other and set up goals so we could all have a successful season together. I feel like it is important to do community service so that we could help the younger generation understand the fact that we are a college that helps others and also teach others to help one another.
We'll talk about some of the efficiencies that you learn, I guess, becoming a better business. You were talking about how it's important to communicate to people that every dollar counts when they give.
Well, You know, a lot of people, and we tell people that yes, the food is good. The food drives that you have for us are really good, but the dollars we can make go farther, because for every dollar we receive, we can turn that into $6 to $7 because of our buying power. We're buying food by the truckload, and we're pooling our resources with 200 other food banks across the country. So if Feeding America is purchasing 10 truckloads of green beans, then they can get a better price than us purchasing a case of green beans. So we look at that in our efficiencies. We look at how we can do, because in nonprofit, your dollars have to go a lot farther.
Sure.
So how can we do things in the most efficient manner? You know, we have people who may be doing 1 or 2 jobs, where in a corporation there's one person performing that job. So we just want to make sure that we're good stewards of the dollars that we receive, that we're providing food to the people who need the food, because every dollar we save is a dollar that's providing 3 meals. For every dollar we can provide 3 meals.
So, you know, when you look at this community, Memphis is one of the poorest cities in the country. And even as I was walking here, somebody that found me from afar and walked over and wanted to ask me for help. Talk about what that does to you and why you feel the need to help such a needy community.
Well, it's not just helping such a needy community, but we all have a responsibility for our fellow man and woman. That's basically a responsibility. Food, no one should be hungry in this land of plenty. And someone once admonished me for saying that food is a right, you know.
Right.
But it is. It is a right. And you have so many people who are struggling to make ends meet. And it's really important that we help to lift up our neighbor, because that's the only way we can lift up this city. So as long as we have people who are having difficult times and struggling in poverty, the city's not going to expand and grow. Mm-hmm. So, you know, as they say, the only way the boat can rise is if everybody in this boat is rising up. And so we've got to help our neighbors. You know, education is an important part of this, but if you're hungry, education doesn't mean much
Sure.
to you, because you can't learn, whether you're a child or an adult going to college. You know, it's difficult if you're worried about where your next meal is coming from.
Well, I agree. And, you know, the name of the program is An Education That Works. And we talk about how we help, you know, provide our students with better career training to help them go out and change our world. But another part of Victory University is An Education That Cares. And, you know, one of the things that you read a lot of today is you see how many students are actually looking to have careers with nonprofits. And the numbers are staggering because people want to make a difference. How do you see that, and what kind of world and students have you seen over the years that want to get involved? And you know, just in ours alone, there are people that say they want to come to Victory University because we have programs like this, like partnering with Mid-South Food Bank and other good, you know, 501c3 nonprofits.
Ken, that's very important, because as government cuts funding to
Sure.
programs that are helping to improve the lives of others, it's going to be on us to step in and do that. And whether it's creating a nonprofit or working within a nonprofit that already exists, that's the only way that we're going to be able to make a difference in this world. And if someone's considering, I want to be a nonprofit, you know, okay, it doesn't hurt to have an MBA.
Absolutely.
To go into nonprofit, because it's a business.
Sure.
It's not like it used to be where you just collect a little money, you do good, but it's a major business. And when you're going to major funders to support your program, you've got to go in with a business plan. You have got to be able to tell them how you're using those dollars. They want to see the bottom line. And they want to know what's the rate of return on their investment in your nonprofit organization. So are you really making a difference? Are you changing lives? Or are you just doing a Band-Aid approach?
Sure.
And that's one of the things, even as we look at our mission here at the food bank, it's more than just feeding people, but our goal is to move people from hunger to health so that we can provide a healthy workforce, because we understand that hunger is the basis of a lot of illnesses that are out there. Robert Woods Johnson Foundation funded some research, and they were projecting that the cuts that were coming across in food stamps, $2 billion cuts, would result in a $15 billion increase in healthcare costs, because food is medicine. So you have to be able to tell your funders that you're having an impact on what your nonprofit is doing, that it's going to have an impact on what they're trying to do. So providing healthy labor force for them.
Do you see challenges more as just the exhaustive number of people that need your help that you deal with as a CEO more, or do you see the challenges of running a business more? And I guess, there's so many nonprofits out there right now. They're all competing for space, and they all have a wonderful cause behind them. But feeding your fellow man and woman gets down to such a root that it's hard not to root for Mid-South Food Bank and what they do. But it's at the same time, you as somebody running a business, you've got a competition level, if you will, that everybody's fighting for attention and space in the community service market, I guess.
And it's true, and you have to be competitive.
Sure.
And the only way that you can be competitive is if you're operating like a business and
Right.
you're doing it in an efficient manner and you're watching your bottom line. One of the important things that more nonprofits are doing and need to do is collaborating. It's no point in going out and reinventing something that already exists. Then you find a partner that you can work with, and the two of you together can make a better difference by collaborating rather than you flying solo.
Right, sure.
So that day of this is my territory
Sure.
and you can't come into it. As a matter of fact, we collaborate. That's how food banking is. We've been collaborating all along. We have over 200 agencies that we collaborate with to get the food out to people. We're collaborating. We starting a new program with Mayhue, a senior nutrition program. That's a collaboration. So you've got to look for those opportunities, because funders don't want to fund something that's duplicating a service that's already there. But look at how you can enhance what someone else is doing and be a good partner with them.
Well, and we did, the last event that we did together was around the 1st of January, and we did it at a grocery store at the Cash Savers on White Station Road. Turns out one of our students, he and his parents, own this grocery store, and we collaborated, with us. And one of the things that I saw as well was just the power of social media. We were posting a lot of pictures. You guys were tweeting a lot and talking about what's going on. And it was a way that the community, not just Victory University or people at the food bank, but people from out the area were seeing this and coming on. Talk about the power of getting the word out and how important that is to make a business like this, a company, such a good company, get the attention it needs, because you really got to tell some great stories.
That's going back to my degree.
Sure.
The communication aspect of it and the marketing aspect, and you have to be able to let people know what you're doing and the difference that you're making, and you have to be able to show them. And social media has really had an impact on, and not only in getting the word out, but the competition for the dollars, because more people are out there in social media. But it's an opportunity to share the highs and lows of your organization. The highs is being able to feed people, and the lows are seeing so many people standing in line, and letting people understand the need, showing that picture, that image. Many people have one idea of what they see the face of hunger as, but we have to show them this is the face of hunger. It's the person who may live next door to you, the person who is going to work every day, but you don't know that they don't have enough in their house to eat. So it's not that homeless person that approaches you when you're pumping gas at the gas station. It's the person who's pumping gas next to you at the gas station, and they're using their last dollars to pump that gas so they can get to and from work. Mm-hmm. So getting that message out to people to understand, and that's why social media is important, having a website that is inviting and that encourages people to see the story that you're telling, being able to communicate when you're going out and speaking to organizations. But we're in a very visual society. Absolutely. And I can paint pictures with words, but then when you show someone a picture, when they see the image, it's, wow, you mean that many people are hungry? When you see a line that's wrapping around the Landers Center,
absolutely,
you know, then it's shocking to people that we have that many people who are hungry.
I believe it's important to go back to school and get my degree because I want to have a foundation. I want to have more opportunities. I want to have a stable future. I want to be able to earn money, have security, have job security, and provide for my 2 daughters. I enjoy learning. I am a self-proclaimed nerd, so I love the experience. I love the challenge, and I love making A's. I think everyone has their own way of giving back to the community. In your daily walk, you can find a way to give back if it's no more than saying a kind word, but you can always find time to give of your talent and your time to someone in need. There's always some way that you can find, even if it's, take the coat off your back. You never know, but find a way. Balancing work and school can be difficult, but it's more about prioritizing what is important to you. I'm a mother, but I'm also a student, and I strive to be the best at both. So it's about knowing what you need to do and when you need to do it, and putting emphasis on what's important.
Talk about the value of what volunteering can do and the kind of advice that you're often asked for.
Well, it can really make a difference because you have an opportunity to get skills, particularly for someone fresh out of school or high school that's going to college and they want to see those volunteer hours. But if you're thinking about a career change, why don't you volunteer at an organization so you can see? So if you want to go into nonprofit, spend some time volunteering at the organization so you can see the different aspects of working in a nonprofit organization. I told you my internship was an unpaid internship, so basically I was volunteering for the Med. And a lot of times that volunteer opportunity can turn into a job for you. Nonprofits have turnover just like corporations do. Sure. And if we have someone that's been volunteering with one of our programs and we've got a vacancy, then we're going to look at that person that's been volunteering with the skills that we need more than someone coming from outside, because that person is familiar with that program. So it creates opportunities, but at the same time, it gives you a choice. So if you're thinking about making a career change, that I want to move from the corporate environment to the nonprofit environment, you get an opportunity to see what that environment is like. It's hard work. People think working for a nonprofit is going to be easy. It's hard work. It's a different environment.
Managing a large group of people at an event who are in desperate need for food brings out the best of your managerial experience that you learned in college.
Yes, and making sure that you keep a smile on your face.
Absolutely.
And that you're treating those people with dignity.
I saw when we did our own event last month how much the community came out to support. It was one thing that really amazed me is we were talking about it on the radio as well. We saw a lot of people come in after work in suits, professional attire, and we saw a lot of them give, but a lot of them got caught up and were too busy to give. Yet we saw some people that were homeless and had nothing, and told us they were that way, that were donating money and canned goods that they were buying when, you know, taking a few cans to go live on the street. Why do you think people like that understand so well what it means to give?
The best thing that I can tell you is we had a gentleman that come in, and he made a $50 donation, and he said, "You all helped me when I was out of work," and he said, "This is from my first paycheck." You know, if you've been there and you understand, but a lot of people don't understand that many people are one paycheck away from being in that situation. And if this economy hasn't just basically given people a wake-up call, you know, I don't know what will in that regard. And some people just don't want to be bothered. They believe that there are organizations out there to help and let them take care of it. This is what they're responsible for. You know, this is not my responsibility. But for the most part, you'll see that this community is one of the most giving communities. You know, we've been touted nationally about the ability to give, and you find that people who have the least are people who give the most because they understand. They understand you make that sacrifice. You give that last dollar to someone not knowing where your next dollar will come from, and then you put on a jacket that you haven't worn in a while, and you find $20 in that jacket pocket. You know, so it's only by giving that you receive.
Well, you know, from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you for what you've done for the community. It's really been an honor to get to meet you and get to talk to you. And I want to thank you for the work you've done here with the Mid-South Food Bank, and thank you for being on Education Network.
Well, I thank you, and I thank you for your commitment to making this community better.
Absolutely. So if you or anyone else you know is inspired by today's story, or if you want to help change our world, or if you simply want to earn a college degree, then I urge you today to go to aneducationnetworks.com. On behalf of Victory University, thank you for An Education That Works.
What I love about going to Victory is that we have some awesome teachers. They really like to get into your world, and that's really cool. I really like the outreach opportunities that we have with Victory too. You can tell that Victory has such a heart for helping people, and it's so cool to get to be a part of that, and especially being a Trinity Honors Scholar. And so I think that would just help me just in general in my life of whatever I'm going to do with my degree. Being able to connect with people on a deeper level, I've gotten to do that here at Victory.